My name is Kayla Nuby, and I'm a Bereavement Coordinator and Chaplain with SSM Health at Home Hospice. And I am here today to talk to you about my excitement and passion for healing and wholeness. For many in this room, your ultimate goals for patients center around promoting health and healing. You are focused on progress, on prevention, on facilitating the best possible outcomes. In many ways, that is true for hospice as well, perhaps with a bit of a different perspective. Of course, hospice is not about curing a disease, but it's also not about giving in to the disease either. It's about helping people to be as comfortable as possible in order to find meaning, to possibly have an opportunity to make sense out of their life and those they share life with, or to find life in the midst of death. In hospice care, we understand that we can't physically heal our patients. Those in our care have limited days, and it is our job to provide the best possible quality of care, quality of life for our patients as they approach the end of their life, and to provide guidance and support for family members as they navigate changing needs, difficult decisions, and overwhelming emotion. We recognize that even when we can't bring about physical healing, we can provide emotional and spiritual healing for our patients and their families, and that we can continue to serve as a healing presence to loved ones our patients leave behind. As a bereavement coordinator, I get to walk with people on their grief journey. I get to find creative ways of engaging loss and help them discover their strengths and coping skills. SSM Health at Home provides continued supportive services for a full year following a family's loss. We recognize that grieving takes time and looks different from person to person and family to family. We also recognize that finding a way to express emotions and process grief can be especially difficult for children. Children have been given the name forgotten mourners by a grief researcher, Alan Wolfelt. They are often sheltered from seeing loved ones at the end of life and frequently are removed from experiencing the funeral process. This can be very formative for children in how they view death and loss, and as a result, how they also grieve and heal. There is no right way to grieve, but as we know, presence is key. And teaching families how to take time to honor and remember that special person helps children know it's okay to grieve in their own special way. And this is a much needed resource. Camp Magic is a resource we offer to our families and the community. MAGIC stands for Mending a Heart, Grief in Children. It is an annual camp we offer, first of all in St. Louis, and now in addition, mid-Missouri and Southern Illinois. And it's for children who have experienced any type of loss. Since time is limited, I'll give you a brief snapshot of what you will find taking place at camp every summer. At the camp in St. Louis, it is held at Purina Farms, where I work, and you will see campers having fun, making new friends who have similarly experienced loss. You'll see a butterfly release in honor of lost loved ones. You will hear laughter, screams, tractors, musical instruments for coping techniques. You will smell, well, there are lots of animals, and so therefore you will smell manure. You will feel the hot heat of the June weather, the movement of yoga, furry teddy bears, and perhaps a splash of water from the dog show. Camp Magic offers an environment where children can come and feel safe enough to express their grief, however that may look. It also provides resources for support to adults. Let me zoom in a little and tell you a story about one of our campers who came to camp 2 years ago, and she was in my group. Her name was Samantha, and she was very quiet at first, and she didn't like to talk too much about the fact that she had lost her mom. Samantha quickly became friends with another girl in our group, and as we did activities together, Samantha began to share more. One of the main purposes of Camp Magic is to provide children opportunities that are fun to engage with their grief and also helpful in coping after their day at camp is over. Samantha started to share how she doesn't tell kids at school that her mom passed. Instead, she made up a story about how her mom divorced her dad and left their family. She said this felt easier for her to handle because she didn't want to feel weird. It is considered abnormal for a child to experience death at such a close family member, and Samantha did not want to stand out or feel more alone than she already did. By the end of the day at camp, Samantha was more vocal as she, with her dad, created a memory box with her mom's picture on the front. We talked about how Samantha looks a lot like her mom and what it was like for Samantha to openly talk about her mom. While kids are doing their therapeutic activities, adults have their own support group and share their experiences and difficulties of mourning their own grief, as well as helping their child's. We introduced music therapy with Camp Magic a couple years ago in St. Louis and use it for the adults as support as well. Prior to camp, the adults are encouraged to submit a coping song they find helpful that either reminds them of their loved one or helps them to find strength to move forward. On the day at camp, all of the adults come together and share their songs if they feel comfortable. After they share, we listen to the song. This is an incredibly emotional time for the group. One particular family attended camp last year, shortly after they lost their 2-year-old son in a backyard swimming pool drowning incident. In a matter of seconds and then minutes, their lives were changed. I wanted to share a portion of the song that they shared with the group that day. Hold it all together, everybody needs you to be strong. But life hits you out of nowhere and barely leaves you holding on. So when you're on your knees and answers seem so far away, you're not alone. Stop holding on and just be held. Your world's not falling apart, it's falling into place. I'm on the throne, stop holding on and just be held. What powerful words in light of such a significant loss. And my response to them, just like many of the other patients and families I sit with in their pain, is just that, to sit and to cry, to somehow find a connection, to hold a hand, and most of all, to be present. This is what gives me life and keeps me going in the hard days and when I feel burnt out. It energizes me to continue caring. And most of all, it helps to remind me that being present is doing something, even though we can't fix people's grief and we can't give them answers to the why, but we can have power in the presence that brings ultimate healing. Thank you so much.